In this video, we're going to go over the modeling of a simple bridge in Fusion 360. Then we'll also look at it in Cura, and finally the 3D printing aspects of it. So let's go ahead and begin. This will be the end product of our bridge. So it'll be 240 feet long. The point from the bottom to the top right here will be 25 feet, and the road on it will be 24 feet wide, and it will have these 2-foot sidewalls so that of course the cars won't drive off. So let's begin. So we'll create a new design, and this is where your data panel is. We'll open it and save. We'll name it, I'll just bridge design, and save. So we're going to start by selecting a sketch plane. Now for the long horizontal part of the bridge, we'll create a line and 240 feet. See, I could just type 240 because my document settings already have my units on feet. If you were working in meters, of course you could come here and change it to centimeters, meters, anything you want, but we're going to leave it in feet. Now we're going to draw the center point of this bridge, or the max height. So we said it was going to be 25, and just for getting the curve to go correctly, we're going to add these 2 points over here that will be 6 feet high, and they need to be 25 feet from the ends. So from here to here, 25 feet. And we're going to do the same on this side. So create another line, 6 feet, and 25 feet. Okay, so now let's create the curve on it. So we'll select this tool, and then select each of these points. Okay, now select the check mark, and you have a nice symmetric curve. We're going to use the offset tool next, and this will do more than we need, but we'll just trim the rest. We're going to come out -3 feet. And now create another line, go here to the end point, and just draw it straight up. Do the same on this side. Okay, now we're going to trim all this excess. So trim. Okay, now we're done with that part. So on the bridge, there are these flat areas that the columns rest on, so we're going to go ahead and draw these flat spots right now. So the columns are each 20 feet apart. So we're going to start by drawing a line that's 20 feet long. And then we're going to draw another line that connects it to this curve. So wait until you see that X mark, and that means the 2 lines are touching each other. Okay, now we're going to draw another line 20 feet long. And connect it with the top again, and we're going to keep doing this till we're to the middle. And I didn't dimension this one since I just used my cursor instead of my keyboard to type the dimension, so I'm going to go ahead and dimension this to 20 feet. Okay. Now let's continue with the lines. 20 feet. Okay, and we're done with that part. The rest of these we're just going to mirror. Since it's symmetric, we'll do all the rest of them using a mirror tool later on. Now we're going to create a rectangle from a center point. Find this intersection of the 20-foot line. We're going to do 3 feet by 3 feet. Now we're going to use the same tool, 3 feet by 3 feet. Okay, 3 feet by 3 feet. Now we're going to use the mirror tool to do the rest of them. So go up to the top, select mirror. Now you're going to have to select every object or line that you want to mirror. So we're going to go through here and select each of these lines of the square. Now if you are, like right there, you happen to accidentally select the wrong line, just select it again and it'll deselect. Oops, did it again. It can be a little tedious going through and selecting these. And the last one. Okay, so now we have all the squares selected. We're going to select our mirror line, which is the center of the symmetry. So this will be our mirror line. And once we select it, you can see all of the rectangles, or the squares in this case, have been mirrored across. Okay, so now we're going to select OK. That's complete. Now let's give 3 dimension to this 2D sketch. So we're going to use the, well, first we're going to finish the sketch. Then we're going to select extrude. And we're going to select all of these squares, and they're subdivided so it can take a little bit of time. You could go through and trim these lines, but it's really not worth it. The time would be about a wash. Okay, so we have them all selected. Now we're going to do 28 feet. And I will just say real quick that you can look down here on the menu, and if you did something wrong in your sketch, you can select Edit, and it will bring you back to it. Now if I change anything here, it will change the extrude feature, which is helpful, but you also have to keep it in mind that it will change what you've done later on in your drawing. Also, I could have labeled these as construction lines if I wanted to. Makes it a little easier and dashes them, but I don't know, I often am kind of sloppy and don't do it. But there is also that to keep in mind if you want to be nice and neat. So now we're going to finish the sketch and it will bring it back to where we were. Okay, so we're going to work on the columns next. To do the columns, we're going to create another sketch plane at the bottom. So let's go ahead and select sketch plane. No, it has us in the wrong plane, so let's go back. Create sketch. Okay, here we go. We want it on this bottom plane. We're going to rotate around so we can see it from here. So we're going to create the origin. We're trying to create a rectangle in the center of this rectangle. So this is 20 feet because we spaced them all at 20 feet. And then we made it 28 feet wide, so 14 feet is going to be the middle. Okay, so now from here we're going to use another center rectangle. Select the center. We made these boxes 3 feet wide, and we're going to make it 10 feet long by 3 feet wide. Now we are going to create this on every one of these, the same rectangle, but instead of redrawing it over and over again, we're going to use this rectangular pattern tool. So select it, and we're going to turn it into spacing. So select the objects first. So again, we have to select each line of the rectangle. And now we want it to be spaced a distance of 20 feet. And see, I think there are 11 of these. So 11, yes. And then just click enter. And now we have the rectangles drawn on all of them. And these rectangles are going to be the columns supporting the bridge. So now we're going to finish the sketch and select extrude and select each of these rectangles. Okay, now that we have them all selected, we're just going to pull it to a random height. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as it cuts through all of the bridge. And then afterwards, we're going to go remove the excess. So change it to, instead of cut, join. And now you see that we have all this excess on the top, but that's okay. So select OK. Now we're going to remove all of this and just leave it under the bridge. So let's create a sketch. And this time we're going to select the edge of the bridge as our sketch plane. Now just use a line tool. And it doesn't have to be anything specific, just as long as it includes all of these excess parts. Okay, so we have that shaded region. Now we're going to finish the sketch, use extrude again, and this time we're going to cut away all of these. Okay, there we go. So we have a nice bridge with these columns. Now because of these angled parts not being able to go lower and lower here, we're going to go ahead and just make these a flat rectangle. We could have done it in the beginning, but we can do it here also. So select extrude and just select these planes. We'll do all 4 of them on one side. Okay. And instead of distance, we're going to do to an object. And we're going to select the outside wall again. So there, made those rectangle. Now we have to do it to the opposite side. So same, extrude tool, select these faces. Now we're going to use the to an object again and select this wall and OK. Okay, so now it's starting to look pretty similar to this bridge. The next thing we need to do is add these angles, and they're called chamfers. So we're going to go to modify and select chamfer. Now we're going to have to select each of these edges or inside edges for it. You can do them all at one time. Now rotate around. Okay. And now we are going to set this to equidistance and pull it out to 8 feet, if I remember correctly. Nope, 9 feet. Okay, so 9 feet. And select OK. So now we have those chamfers in place, and we're going to put the walls on the bridge. So next we are designing this. Again, we're going to create a sketch, but this time we're going to select the outside of the bridge as our sketch plane. We're going to draw a line, or actually, sorry, we're going to do an offset first. For 3 feet. And then a line connecting to the offset. Okay, so now we're going to finish the sketch. It's okay that we have all this excess lines. We're not going to use them, but there's no point just to go through and delete them. We'll just use up our time. So we're going to select this as our extrude plane. And now we're going to bring it in 2 feet. So -2. Enter, and we're going to do the same for this side. So now we create another sketch. Select this wall. Offset. Three feet. Okay, so we're going to draw the lines again from here to here, and from here to here. Finish the sketch, extrude, and we're going to select that again, and -2 feet. Enter, and the bridge is done. So File, 3D Print, and we're selecting the bridge. This is all good. So we have our custom utility set to Cura that we found in our file folder. It's way too large for the printer, so we have to select it, and we're going to do it 5 inches long, which comes out to 157 millimeters. No, 127 millimeters. Enter. And that's why, because I'd select move instead of scale. Let's try that again. Okay. Let's do this at 0. This at 0. Rotate. And here's what it looks like. We'll go to Preview, Slice. It'll show us the layers. So this model really doesn't require any support structure. It'll be able to print a curve overhang like this pretty fine, which is nice because support structure will end up damaging your print. You can see our print settings here. We're at normal, 15% infill density, but on an object this small, often, yeah, it still ends up at 100%. So this is how each layer will end up printing. Okay, so that all looks good. You can see if we were to reduce it to fine, which might do on this one since it's such a small print. We're going to keep these, slice it again, and now you can see the lines are a little smaller, the quality's higher, and we can go through and see each layer again. So it looks pretty good. And next we'll actually 3D print it.